Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey everyone, this is Andres Oclal. Welcome to this quick live stream. For those of you who have been looking at the live streams that we've been doing, I really appreciate that. I did not do one after the Trinidad Tobago Jamaica Trinidad Tobago game where we lost 2-0 because I was pretty tired, if I'm being really honest. So I know this is late. This is going to be a quick condensed version, a condensed reaction. I know a lot of people have reacted already. We tend to react at EXCV at a more... We try to be as analytical as possible. So for those of you, continue to subscribe, like, and share. Like I said, when you do that, you automatically qualify for a chance. When you like, share, and follow us on all our socials, a chance to win, prizes, a signed jersey, and, maybe a copy of EAFC. So what I will say is that the initial reactions, I had to take a breath afterwards, and because the 4-hour shoot was really long. I answered a lot of questions. I know right now it's probably about 24 hours after the game. It's 11:30 p.m. at night. I'm doing the CPL as well, so I have to prepare for that. I'm going to do a full reaction and breakdown as best as we can using the data from SofaScore with Kenwin Jones maybe tomorrow. So you folks can look out for that. So let's get straight into the game really quickly. I'll try to keep this as short as possible for those of you who have been watching. So the game ended 2-0. Everybody knows this. The goals in the 57th and the 36th minute from John Russell and Bailey Cardas Marteri. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And first off, I want to send a lot of love and respect out to the Jamaican fans who were in the live stream. It was very respectful. I really appreciated that. Congratulations to your team. I'm obviously a fan of Trinidad Tobago, so the loss was upsetting, but I really appreciated the respectful tone. Even the friendly banter, that's okay. I was okay with that. You guys have a strong team and you deserve that. So let's get straight into it. I am not entirely surprised, and if you look back in our match preview, which I'll put a link, it'll pop up on top here when I'm done. We were optimistically, Andre and I, which is the other Andre, we were optimistically hoping for a draw and maybe a smash and grab win. We stated multiple times that it was going to be difficult. This is a difficult game. And to be fair, at an initial glance, Trinidad Tobago played, I would say, well enough. And when I say well enough, I mean a lot of people were expecting us to get wiped off the park. A lot of neutrals and people who just passionate fans, and that's fine. I didn't think it was ever going to be like that. I think we were going to make hard work for Jamaica, and we did. A lot of people, myself included, if you look at the stream and you'll laugh a lot, there were 3 goals disallowed, and rightfully so. Of course, at the initial reaction when you look at me in the stream, just like any fan, I did not see the replays properly, and it looked to me as if it was onside. I threw a fit. You could look back at the stream and have a huge laugh. But in the end, when I looked at all 3 and, some of the viewers out there in the stream, I had to really sit back and say, okay, they were legit. The second one in particular was a bit painful because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was an unfortunate header directly into the path of the Jamaican striker, which was Bailey. Not Leon Bailey. Just making that clear. And let's also understand something. This is not Jamaica's strongest team. There's a lot of players missing from this team. And, kudos to this team. This shows the talent pool and the depth this team has. And, on the surface level, like I said, we're gonna break down in greater details in the other video coming up with Kenwin Jones. So I'm seeing some viewers coming in. Welcome. This is live. I could have edited this and, posted it up, whatever, but I decided not to. I want this to be authentic and raw. So welcome. I'm seeing viewers popping in. So as I was saying, formation-wise, Trinidad Tobago, both teams, according to SofaScore, use the 4-2-3-1. In terms of the starting lineup, Levi Garcia is the lone striker, Dante Sealy, Yates, and Spicer. The 3 guys behind, with Yates being like the cam. Andre, welcome from Jamaica. Listen, I really appreciate the Jamaicans joining our stream. You guys have been showing us nothing but love. And, I really appreciate how good your team is and how classy you all with winning. You all have a good team. I really hope you guys get to the World Cup, and I would love if both teams get to the World Cup, but somebody had to win the game. So welcome, Andre. Just going along, both teams played Steve McLaren as well, played a similar formation. And, Jamaica started as expected, from the attack momentum map, some super score, which, like I said, in the other video, which will have Kenwin Jones and maybe some other people, Jamaica started in the ascendancy, as expected. And, they did a lot of attacking down the right side. Cardines, who's a player I really like. I think he's a player that definitely has cemented his spot and, gives us a lot of options with Alvin Jones. He had a lot of work to do. And, Jamaica probed. And to be honest, when Levi Garcia scored the first goal, Andre, I appreciate the love. We are definitely sharing. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. And we're getting a lot of Andre's Andre. Like, I'm Andre, the guy who's the guest, the co-host now with me is Andre. Another sport show is Andre. Andre is such a cool name. What do you think? So all the other viewers in there, welcome. Like I said, this is a very impromptu, delayed reaction because there's a lot of reactions out there from a lot of people already. And I purposefully I took my time because after the last live stream, I was tired. So, as it stands, before I get back into my quick tactics, in terms of the table, Trinidad and Tobago is third in the table right now. Jamaica has 6 points. Curacao, and now second in the table, Trinidad third, Bermuda 4. So 6 for Jamaica, 4 for Curacao, 1 for Trinidad and Tobago. So at this point, what's up, Rods? What's up, Rods? Did I see you in the last live stream? I'm not sure. I'm not sure as well, but welcome. Always welcome, people. Like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, follow our socials. It really helps. So Trinidad and Tobago definitely has to win every single game. And I'm seeing Andre saying, lol, the passion for sports seems to be with the Andres. Yes, that's right. That's right. Still Dre. I'm hearing the Dr. Dre music in my head. Can't help it. I'm a very animated guy. But for Trinidad and Tobago, we have to win our next games. The next 2 games are away games. There is no room for errors, Dwight York said. I did post up the post-match comments from Steve McLaren. I would like to say a special thank you to the Jamaican Football Federation, who made the video accessible to me. So that way, a lot of viewers could see the post-match conference and hear what he had to say. I saw a lot of comments and feedback about the video, so I'd really love to hear everybody's thoughts. And hey, Rods, no, I wasn't there at the last live stream, unfortunately. That's okay. Be there for the next one. I'll be doing all the home games at Trinidad the away games. I'll be trying to do the home games. So, folks, I have to admit, as a Trinbago fan, I was deflated because I think going back to the first half, if you look at the momentum maps and so on, we did do well. I think we contained the obvious offensive threat of Jamaica well enough. In terms of statistics, overall, Jamaica had 45%, we had 55%. There were moments where we did create some chances. It seemed as if Dwight York likes to favor the long throws into the box. And, a lot of people are complaining about the offside decisions. They were all legit. Very close, but they were legit. And I think just to summarize really quickly, what's up, Bearback? What's happening? Trinidad played a really good game. Yeah, I think there has been some improvement on that Dwight York, Andre. And welcome, Bearback. Lots of respect to Jamaica. I think there's improvement. But at this point, playing really well and losing is very minimal consolation. And Dwight York knows this. He said it in the press conference. They have to win every single game after this. Personally, I think, like I said, this is a summarized version. We're going to have a full version of this with statistics and so on. But I think from my observation, where the first goal was scored was a little bit of a 1 second lack of communication. That's to tell you how at this level you'll get punished. When it was a throw-in from Cardines, it was won by Jamaica, headed back into the attacking area for Jamaica, defending for us. And Josiah Trimmingham, and I think it was Powder, I could be mistaken, had just a split-second hesitation, and they capitalized and they scored. And that's the level they're at. And then the second goal, it was kind of I kind of saw that coming. I think Dwight York made an attempt in the second half to really change things up. He brought on Kylie Overy. He brought on a lot of attacking changes. Nathaniel James. And I think kudos to Steve McLaren. I think he read the game well and was able to neutralize that attack. At that point in time, we were not able to really connect our midfield to the attackers. And Jamaica was pressing really well. We were not able to do those combination passes like we were doing previously in the first half with Andrew Rampasad and so on. That was gone. And that was credit to Jamaica's pressing. And we were forced out wide. The wide players were isolated. And sometimes 2v1, sometimes 3, where they would close them down. And they were minimal areas. What's up, Nigel Gordon? Welcome. I really appreciate all the streamers in here right now. Because like I said, this is a delayed reaction. Usually people do reactions right after the game. I purposefully needed a rest, folks. I was a bit tired. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to everybody who's viewing it right now. And like I said, I think Steve McLaren, I know, and Jamaican fans in here could let me know what you think. I know not everybody has been entirely happy with him. I know there's a lot of, this is not Jamaica's best team, which is scary on paper. And it just shows you the talent pool this team has. A lot of people talk about the Leon Bailey drama and all these guys, but that's really good for Jamaica heading into the World Cup qualifiers. Towards the other games to get to the World Cup. Curacao as well. Things are now complicated now. Bermuda has shown that they are no walkovers. They are here, and they mean business. A lot of people were not talking about Bermuda, and I think that was a bit unfair. But back to the Trinidadian moments. I think, as I said, Steve McLaren did an excellent job in shutting down the ability to do combination plays in the middle. And we resorted to try to dribble from deep. And like I said, it's a testament to Jamaica. Steve McLaren read the game right. Dwight York played his move to try to get, pull some goals back. And, they killed off the game really well. We have to take our chances in the first half. There was some little slip-ups from Jamaica in the first half and the second half that we should have capitalized on. We have to work on our composure in the finishing area. Levi Garcia, I saw he came off. I hope he's not injured. So we'll see how that goes for him. A lot of people reacted emotionally after the game. I honestly understand that. We try to be a bit more methodical. I'm seeing the viewers coming in. I really appreciate this, folks. This was supposed to be a quick review, but you guys are encouraging me to stay here, so I shall. And, if you have any questions, I'll answer it as well. I really think Jamaica has a legitimate shot. 6 points is the ideal scenario for them to get to the World Cup. That's my opinion. And from a Trinidadian perspective, Trinbagonian perspective, those 2 points we dropped at home, could be very brutal for us. So a lot of people have been asking me, listen, is it done? A lot of people are already jumping off the bandwagon, depressed, and so on. Mathematically, we can still make it. We still have to play Bermuda away. You have to play Curacao away. Make no mistake, those are difficult games. And, Bermuda clearly is capable of scoring goals. Trinidad has not scored a goal yet. That's something, and that will be a concern for Dwight York. And, they'll have to just be very calm and, take it game by game. Because at this point, there is no room for error. They have to win. I think, truthfully, anything other than a win in the next game is pretty dark for us. But as I always say, once there's a mathematical chance, they can. We'll see how Dwight York approaches the next game. There's a little bit of a window going on. There's a issue going on where they're trying to settle the grandparents' rule, as they call them in Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently, there's some players eligible for playing for us that they have been eyeing. I don't know who they are. If people in the stream know who they are, they could let me know. Rods, we need clear roles in the midfield. Unfortunately, we don't have that right now. What I can say is I have seen an improvement in the midfield. These teams, I wish, in my mind, I probably wish maybe we got Dwight York maybe a year before we got him. That way we could probably see a little more progression. They did create chances. I'm going to pull up the stats really quickly here. In terms of shots, Trinidad got 13, Jamaica got 10. And, it wasn't bad. But, towards the end, Jamaica killed off the game really well. And kudos to them, they're growing. And for us, meaning Trinidad and Tobago, we're going to have to work on taking our chances. We have some dynamic attacking wide players. I see York has been trying, combinations in the midfield. And it is what it is. We simply have to get results. It's the reality is, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but, playing well and losing does nothing for anybody. I'm pretty sure nobody feels good We played better than most people expected, but lost. So it's very important. I think we lost the game. Essentially, after the second goal, I think it was pretty tough for us. I think we were not able to react the way we wanted to. And I said this before earlier in the stream. I think that goes down to Steve McLaren. And, you know, Andrew and everybody there, the Jamaicans in here right now, and all the other viewers, you could let me know what you think about Steve McLaren. I know not everybody was fully happy from what I gathered. But he definitely showed his experience, I think, towards the end. It may not be the prettiest, but you could see that he had a game plan to try to neutralize our wingers. Even in the beginning, when we were getting some leeway and going down the wings, we were not penetrating like we did with Curacao. And I think that's because of how the team was set up. Curacao played with 3 at the back, if I'm not mistaken, which could turn to 5 if required. And oftentimes, there leaves a little bit of a gap there when the wing backs go up. And we were able to penetrate there. Jamaica, it was not the same situation. Spicer on one end, you know, Dante Sealy and the other guys on the other end with, you know, overlapping runs from Cardines. You could see there were moments where Trinidad tried to pass the ball around the box and try to create openings, and to Jamaica's credit, they were not giving Trinidad that little half chance they needed to even get a shot off. We did have to resort to some desperate shots out wide. Welcome, Dwayne Winchester. I've been deflated since the last game yesterday. Yeah, I understand how you feel, Dwayne. I understand how you feel. You know, we all want to get back to that glory of the World Cup, and we are seeing glimpses and improvements with the team. It's not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's perfect. I'm sure Dwight York will agree it's the same thing. But I'm seeing progression in the right direction. It's just unfortunate because, you know, these games the results do matter. You know, Trinidad and Tobago, at this point, this is where, you know, it's the business end now. You have to win. So I really am seeing now that Curacao draw, you know, is coming back to bite us, and it could bite us in the end with goal difference and so on, and dropping those 2 points. It could mean the difference between coming second place and third. And, you know, also, like I said, I'm not disrespecting Bermuda. I think Bermuda is a team that can cause problems. I have seen and I've told many people in the last, you know, 15 years, this is not a recent development. All the teams in the Caribbean have been improving, and, you know, it is what it is. There are no walkovers. There are no easy teams. I've been seeing people saying easy teams. That is ridiculous. There's no such thing. I'm reading some of the comments here. Nick James. Welcome, Nick James. That's why Trinidad needed Jones as a backup for Molino, and York let an injured defender play. He came off the game before hurt, and he let the man play that made us get a goal ball watching. I mean, I am curious. You know, a lot of people, unless there's some kind of injury concern, ever since Jovan Jones left Miami, I noticed he's kind of been a bit part player in the squad. When he came back to Trinidad, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he has a lot of experience. You know, this is a guy who was a top player in the MLS for many years. The Seattle Sounders went to Germany. So I mean, I don't know. I don't see them in training. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a tactical reason or a physical reason. You know, Dwight is big on fitness. Welcome, Haggai. Dante Gilbert is a necessity for this Trinidad and Tobago midfield. Yes, I think we really need all the help we can get right now. You know, right now it's all about getting results and having those quality players. Seeing the viewers coming in. So like I said, this was supposed to be short, but you guys are encouraging me to do this, so I will continue. Like I said, just a reminder, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. You know, when you do those things, and follow us on our socials at Extra Time TV TT, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these things. Also on TikTok, we do have some clips of some really, really cool moments on EXTV. You automatically qualify for a chance to win a prize, a signed jersey from some of the players from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to try to get that. And also, we have the merch store. If you want to support it, it delivers all over the planet for those of you who want to support the channel. So it helps me continue to do what I do. So yes, back to the game. I really think there's a lot of... We have a little window. It clearly, from what I gather, and I could be wrong for those who are a bit more informed than myself, that there are some players that York have in mind, because there's a lot of emphasis on getting the grandparents rule in play. I think he mentioned in one of the post-match interviews, I think against Curacao. I'll put that clip up on the YouTube Shorts, where he mentioned it's only a matter of days before it's wrapped up. So clearly they have some players in mind. My concern is, you know, as good as players are coming in to a team at international level, it's not like club level where you could just come in, you know, and you guys are training every day. You see each other for international windows and maybe friendlies. But you know, quality players who have a tendency to fit in. Devon Smith, big up yourself. I love your Devon. I appreciate that. That means a lot. That means a lot. I do this because of everyone out there, including the people who are viewing right now. This is why I do it. I really appreciate that. Andre, one of your best midfielder, ushered off the field also with a yellow card, which created opportunities the Trinity to capitalize on a day, and they didn't. Yes, I think, you know, when in the second half, I expected a bit more of a reaction, and we didn't see it. From Bareback, it's Dwight York and the Soca Warriors, if you get what I'm saying. Welcome, Shamar Walker. What a man, Salt, Curacao. You know, I hope Jamaica does us a favor and, you know, runs away with the table and, you know, we come second. I mean, of course, ideally, I'd love for us by some miracle to come first. But I can't be mad if Jamaica comes through. Shamar Walker, are you from Curacao? If so, welcome. You know, welcome to the stream. All are welcome here. I really love the positive feedback and, you know, people just having really healthy football conversations. I am genuinely impressed by that. I'm not one of those disrespectful guys. I like to talk football, and even though we disagree on maybe topics, you know, I love the respect. Shamar Walker from Jamaica. Shamar, you were in the last stream. I think I remember you, you know. But anyway, welcome back. I appreciate the support from Jamaica, folks. That means a lot. And of course, anywhere else. And the live stream, we had people from all over the planet. Qatar, you know, France, England, Canada, USA, around the Caribbean islands, India. So I was genuinely humbled by that, folks. So, you know, continue to support. So just to continue, Nick James, a sports psychologist, I think, is what needed. Also because it's all mental with Trinidad Tobago because you got the talent. What do you think? Now, I know for a fact, well, a lot of people don't know this. I worked with the women's national team with Kenwin Jones. And I did my degree in sports management. And I worked with some teams. And the emphasis on sports psychologists are very important. All the top teams in the world do it. All the top sports in the world do it. It's very important. I don't know if the men's national team have one. I don't know. I can't answer that. I know Kenwin Jones did that, and it was very progressive of him. And it did have a positive effect. And you are spot on. I think the psychological aspect is very important. I don't know if that's what they're doing. So if I say that, it would be not accurate. But I can find out. So that's a good question. Bareback, we're not like Julian Alfred. Jamaica will do it for Trinidad Tobago. Carica. I hope so. I hope so. No disrespect to the other teams, but I hope so. We need all the help we can get right now. Rods, what I want most is a consistent improvement of our football in this region. Yes, and I'm seeing a lot of positive things. There's a lot of things that still need to change, but at least there are some little steps in the right direction. I wish those changes took place a little bit before. But, you know, I am seeing the progression. You know, just it's brutal how these qualifiers are. And, you know, we're going to have to win those things. And this is another message from Andre. Curacao will be trouble. Yes, correct. On their home turf. Their field is extremely tough and also always impacts the players with injuries, etc. Yes, it does. I saw that with my own eyes. We beat them. I think it was in the Concacaf Nations League. If we won that, we could have gone to the Copa America. We beat them at home in Trinidad and Tobago. And I saw the game in Miami. I was looking at the game with Thomas Rongan, who works at Inter Miami. I was going to an Inter Miami game to cover it. And we were looking at the game the night before, and it was a crazy result, and the players were struggling. So I'm hoping, you know, Dwight York and, you know, Jamaica as well take that into consideration when they head to Curacao. Because that's going to be rough. Shamar Walker, forget about Jamaica, worry about Curacao. Yeah, well, we're hoping, Shamar Walker, you're right. I think Jamaica is looking good, barring some extreme results. We'll see how it goes. I hope, you know, Trinidad and Tobago bounces back. Rods, how do you think the BVB Academy will impact the TTFA? That's a good question. Because I met the guys when they came down. I went to their press conference. I actually got a very bad shoulder injury. You guys can't see it. It's a lot better now. I could not raise my arm. I still can't. I can't do this, folks. If you're looking, I can't do this properly. I was doing my exercise, working out. We're not too sure what caused it, but I had a slight tear, so I couldn't attend the Borussia Dortmund events. But I mean, if they seem like they mean business. Borussia Dortmund is a massive German team, and I hope if they are allowed to do what they want, I hope that it develops the coaches and the players. And, you know, I think we'll need some time before we see the results, like with most academies. What's up with teams like Barbados and Guyana? You know, I guess they all have their little programs. I know Guyana was a bit of they've always been a strong team, but, you know, I think Maybe not as strong as they used to be. I could be wrong. If there's any Guyanese people in there, you could let me know. So yes, like I said, I really appreciate the viewership out there. This was supposed to be a quick video for everybody out there. Like I said, there's a lot of people who reacted to this game. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this was going to be a quick reaction, but I'm really encouraged by the viewers and the questions in here and the feedback. And, I hope my live stream is working really well. You could let me know if you all are hearing me okay. I'm going to do another one as well for the next game. So all are welcome, Jamaicans, everybody else, jump in. I really appreciate that. I was invited to a Jamaican podcast, and it just, I didn't get onto it, but I'll try to make sure I make it next time. But as I said before, it's do or die for Trinidad and Tobago. And just to summarize really quickly, I think, like I said, I think we really, after the second goal, Dwight York tried to respond, put on some attacking players, and it just didn't work. I think, McLaren neutralized that move. I think it was like chess. This is football is like chess now at the higher levels. It's all about the coaching decisions and game management. And I think, Steve McLaren did enough to shut us down. And like I said, the attacking moves did not pay off like they should have. Aubrey and why can't I remember his name? Was it Spicer? These guys who are out on the wings were isolated out wide, and they were trying to dribble in the first half. They were probing, trying to create spaces, and like I said, even then when we had our moments, it was a couple mistakes from Jamaica, and we got the chances. It was unfortunate. The first offside was really close, but it was offside. I remember in the live stream I was flipping, going crazy. But it was legit. The second one was pretty brutal, because I think, like I said before at the beginning of the stream, it was a header that went straight to Bailey, not Leon Bailey, of course. I have a hard time pronouncing his last name. And even when Levi scored the third, it was pretty obvious that was offside. But once again, it came from a mistake. And I know a lot of the Jamaican fans pointed that out in some of the reaction videos. Welcome, Petrina Fieron. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. No player don't like to play on turf. No. I played on it, and it was very weird. I'm not a professional player, but the highest level I played was university level. But I mean, I did play on grass my entire life, and then I played on some turf, and it was definitely strange. And I've worked with some professional teams, and I've heard players complain about it. It's definitely a totally different ball game. The physics of how it feels, it takes some getting used to. And even some of them, the initial versions of turfs were actually turned out to be toxic. So they actually, a lot of stadiums in the last 10 years, they changed them. Welcome, Ranks Trinidad, bless Trinidad Tobago. Welcome to the stream. For all of you who are watching the stream right now, like I said, this was supposed to be a quick stream, but it's turning out to be a Q&A, and that's okay. So going back to the game, Trinidad Tobago did create. Try to create, and I like this. They were probing, they were composed on top of the box. They were trying to find those spaces. Maybe that 1 second too slow, and that's credit to Jamaica that they were, even though Trinidad was making progression into the box, they were able to usher us out wide. Just take away that 1 second for us to get that shot off and get that gap. A lot of the times when we did get chances, it was, like the throw-ins, there was a little bit of difficulty dealing with the headers when we did long throw-ins into the box. And, we should have capitalized. Levi, like I said, he came off. I don't know the status of Levi Garcia. I don't know if he's injured. Haggai 3, welcome. Footwear choice is key. Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. Your right footwear is very important, and, we'll see how it goes. Audio Slave, that is a very cool name. I love the band. I don't know if there's any connection. Big up, whole Trinidad, one link. Yes. I really appreciating the love I'm feeling from the Jamaicans. I love the respect. And like I said repeatedly on the stream, congratulations. My opinion right now is that Jamaica is in the front seat to make it. And ideally, I hope Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago make it. That's my ideal scenario. Of course, as a Trinbagonian, I want Trinidad to make it on top. Things are tough right now. A lot of Trinidadians are deflated. And I will have a full reaction with Kenwin Jones, former Trinidad and Tobago striker. We work together on the women's national team. And, he'll give us insights. And we like to work a lot with, data and stats. And I know there's a lot of emotion. So, that's why I waited the 24 hours I did to do this. Welcome, Zen. That's another cool name. Corruption on Jamaican side. I heard and I read about that. Well, oh, you mean in the actual game? Well, I don't know about that, but I know football in general. There's always issues with all football associations. Um, but Jamaica got the result. So just to finalize things, I think we really after the second goal, I think the match went away from us. And like I said, I'm not surprised. A lot of people said that we were going to get smashed to pieces. I didn't think so. I never thought we were going to get smashed to pieces. I think Trinidad is definitely better than they were maybe last year in some cases. People made it sound like we were going to get 6-0. And this is Trinidad and Tobago people, not Jamaicans. But I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew we would have given Jamaica a fight. And like I said in my last preview, and you all could check it out afterwards. I'll put a link up here. It will pop up at the end when the video is done. Or you can head over to the EXTV channel and subscribe, where I was optimistically hoping for a draw and maybe a smash and grab win. But I knew deep down it was probably favorable to Jamaica. That's not me being negative. It's just being factual on form. As a fan, I would like us to win. So as it stands, let me pull up. I know the table, but I just want to check a couple things. Jamaica, 6 points. Curacao, 4 points. Trinidad and Tobago 1, Bermuda 0. So our next game is Bermuda away, Curacao away on the 10th and the 14th of October. So we have to win those games. There is no room for error anymore. There is no moment for getting a draw, a good result. That's what it is. So I'm seeing some more comments coming in. Rods, yes, will you and Kenwin be taking credit? Yeah, you know what? We could do that. Now that we're doing it, unless, for example, this video was supposed to be a quick reaction and I was gone. But you all are really encouraging me to do this, and I appreciate that. So I will work on that. I will tell Kenwin and we'll try to synchronize. I'll have to bring him in studio, or maybe set it up on this here so we can have two of us and we can ask him questions directly. I know people have been asking for that, so it's usually scheduling conflicts. That's really all it is. And also Kelvin Jack as well is a regular contributor to Extra Time TV. And sometimes Shaka Hislop. And maybe others as well. We have an analyst, Vidya Ramphal, we could probably bring on. And hopefully if they're not around, I will do the job. Petrina Fieran. Also, let me know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, okay? I want to get people's names correct. Most of Jamaica key players not going to play in the Curacao game because of the turf. Yeah, that turf that's an issue. I totally understand what you're saying. And Trinidad and Tobago better be prepared for that, because I saw how we suffered the last time we went there. I think Angus Eve was the coach last time around for that one. Zen, 2 goals for Jamaica was offside, but Trinidad goals weren't offside, but they called it offside. I look back, I thought they were onside, but when I look back, it was close then. It was close. Even I thought it was onside. If you go back to the stream, you would see me getting very angry. The first one, I still need to go take a closer look, but a lot of reliable people took a look for me and said it was. The second one was definitely our player headed the ball back into the path of Bailey, the Jamaican striker. I can't pronounce his last name properly, and I don't want to say it. So I think in the end, we did do a check, and it was legitimate offsides in the end. So we can't. I wish it was. And I could have something to argue about, but they were offside. Martin Mullings, welcome. Yeah, man. Bless up the Trini. Second place to you. Bless up. Yeah, listen, I said this a million times in the stream. I really appreciate the feedback from the Jamaican fans. That means a lot. I have a lot of love for the country. I may visit soon. I'm doing some CPL work, so when this stream is done, I'll be flying to Barbados for the CPL. And then, maybe, who knows? When Jamaica comes to Trinidad, if any Jamaicans come down, I can meet some of you guys in the stadium and we have some fun. And when I do come to Jamaica, you guys show me a good time. What do you think? So Martin Mullings, I appreciate that. Rods, we can even send you questions where it's the best for you to receive them. Here's fine, Rods. If people want to send questions as well, you can always send them to extratimetvtt@gmail.com. I saw my screen turned off in the back there. I have a cool effect. So I'm going to pull it back up for you guys. There we go. I think it's back. Made that myself, folks. Let me know what you think. One Umbrella Sports and Entertainment. Welcome. Sorry, better luck next time. Just not against Jamaica. Listen, I understand. And also welcome to the chat. And I am appreciating the respect from the Jamaicans. You all At least in my stream, in the EXCV stream, it's been very classy. So welcome, One Umbrella. I'm guessing you have I'll check out some of your content as well. Zen, don't believe them. Patriotic, them lie to me. No. I'm gonna try to be. I always try to be as logical as possible. But I understand what you're saying. I get the joke, man. Audio slave, all you harassing. Oh gosh, man, you all are picking on my friends, Zen. But that's okay. I understand the humor in it, Zen. JCWT Stoic. Why we playing 100 friendlies per year with Jamaica when they are our competitors in Concacaf? That have to be done. There's a lot of politics and negotiations that take place with friendlies. I think, to be honest, we did get a lot of friendlies when Dwight York came in, which I think helped us a lot. I think if we didn't play those friendlies, we probably would have been way worse off. But I understand what you mean. I remember when Stephen Hart was the coach. We played teams like Uruguay and Argentina, South American teams, which I think helped us a lot. So eventually we're going to have to get back to the point where we play people outside our region because it helps us get better and, increase our network. Andrew, I can see that's in there. So Dwayne Winchester, I think they should bring back the Caribbean Cup and include countries such as Curacao, French Guyana, and Suriname. Yeah, I enjoyed that tournament. I remember Didicel took it over for a while. I think all the Caribbean teams, but I think the CONCACAF Nations League may have kind of killed that off a bit because in terms of fixtures and getting players to play, I think that's... But I used to enjoy that tournament. I mean, it's kind of like our Caribbean Copa America, I like when Caribbean teams play in the Copa America. So, that's a good one. Patrina Fierson, both Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago is going to be Curacao at their home turf. I really hope so. For Trinidad and Tobago, we absolutely need to do that. And, folks, I'm probably going to wrap up in a few minutes. But I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, this was supposed to be a 5-minute video. And I was not even going to do it live, but I figured I wanted to be authentic as possible. I am upset about the loss, but I see the weaknesses where we lost the game. And I'll summarize it into maybe 2 things or 3 things. We didn't take our chances. We did create. We need a bit more composure in front of goal. And when the second goal was conceded, the tactics didn't work. And I think that was, like I said, and I said it 3 times in the stream, it was down to McLaren's tactics to kill off the game. I think he did a good job. I think he read the game correctly. And he was able to neutralize our attacking players. So I'm going to read the last couple comments here. Ranks, it's not over. Let's go. Yes, mathematically, it's still possible. So we do have that chance. Like I said, next game is against Bermuda on the 10th of October and Curacao on the 14th. And that's very close, folks. So, they need to get those results. Jamaica is really... Haggai 3. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Haggai 3, Jamaica is really good. Litmus test for Trinbago's growth and development in this rebuilding phase. Yep, it is. In fact, people don't want to admit it, but it is in fact another rebuilding phase for us. And, we're going to have to commit to that rebuilding phase because we always have rebuilding phases. And then for whatever reason, if it's not the normalization committee, it's, corruption behind the scenes, changes, all sorts of things. And there's no continuity. And it hurts us. But that's a whole other topic. And Trinbago fans will be very much aware of this. And I'll do an entire Q&A about that in the future. We played the game. Bareback so quick it was a drive. I mean, in the stream, are you talking about the stream? Is it too quick? Like I said, it was initially supposed to be a 5-minute video. And, I'm enjoying this conversation with everybody and the live streams. It really helps a lot. JCWT Stoic, I agree, my friend. We have to play friendlies out of the region. Correct. We need to increase the quality of our friendlies and also enable that increase our network, which means a lot of things need to change locally in Trinidad and Tobago football, which somebody asked about the Dortmund Academy and so on, where we need to get more players playing in high quality leagues and also increase the quality of our local leagues, which means our coaching and a whole bunch of things. Shamar Walker, name the 4 best teams in the region. In the Caribbean region for me, and I'm not trying to flatter you all, but I think Jamaica, for me, if it's a CONCACAF region, I think Canada, I know a lot of people would say USA first, but I think Canada is probably the strongest team in the region. If it's the Caribbean, I think Jamaica right now definitely has that. The second and third is very tough. It's very tough for me to say right now. I'm going to have to think about that. I know I'm dodging the question. I'm going to have to think about that. How much points to win if possible? Well, then we have 2 more away games, which is Bermuda and Curacao. Then we have to play our last 2 home games, which is Jamaica and Bermuda. So we have 4 games left and a maximum of, obviously if we win the 3 games, it's 12 points. So 4 threes are 12. So the maximum we can aim for is 12, and hopefully other teams take results off each other. And that's the best we can hope for. 973 Uncut Media Podcast. Nice, another podcast. Welcome. Let me know where you're from, 973. And we could follow each other and, maybe collaborate in the future. The 2 goals was Trinidad mistake. Yeah, correct. Jamaica forced a mistake. Patrina Fierson, Trinidad fans, why blaming Jamaica and we're not the VAR? Andre, you can go 1 hour with the live. There is great benefits from YouTube with lengthy live. It will break the algorithm. Interesting. I will take that into consideration. I'm going to do a lot more lives, and that's because of you all and all the viewers in here. You all have encouraged me to do these things, so I will be doing it. It's only because I have some cricket. I'm going to actually have to fly to Barbados, so I'm going to have to go grab some stuff I didn't pack at the back of the studio. You can't see it, but there's a bunch of football jerseys. You all might like the collection. Maybe one day I might show you all. You can't see it in this angle, but that's the only reason I'm leaving. But I really love this, and you all encourage me to do this. And, once you guys keep engaging, I will keep doing it. So, yeah, I will do that. So I appreciate that, Andre. And, especially from Jamaica. We'll be doing the other watch-along as well for the Bermuda game. In fact, we could probably do our next match preview live. Usually we do them pre-recorded. So we'll do that. Yeah, I usually do that because I want to put some graphics up and I use a lot of stats. We have an agreement with SofaScore. So we do a lot of data. It's not so much personal opinions, but we do a lot of data and try to come up with the best, conclusion possible. Dr. Hero, don't worry, Jamaica will bring their full strength team to Curacao. They all went to Guatemala to play on synthetic turf. So I hope so. For us, I hope, like I said, Jamaica and Trinidad goes through. And, Jamaica just smacks everybody aside and, gives us a little hand because we need it. Except against us at home. we need all the points we can get. So hopefully Jamaica is qualified by then and you guys bring a C team. Who knows? But that's way ahead. We have to win the next game. JCWT Stoic, we have the whole of South America right there. Go and check some Venezuela results over the last 2 years against Brazil and Argentina, and half of Venezuela are here. Listen, I have been saying this for years, Stoic. I've been telling people, why hasn't Trinidad and Tobago played more friendlies against Venezuela? I'm a huge follower of South American football. It's my favorite. I know a lot of people like European football, and I like that as well, but South American football is my favorite. I follow the South American leagues, Brazilian and Argentina leagues, the national teams. And to me, it's absolutely insane. The quality of Venezuela, the teams they play against, would only serve us well. Plus, from a marketing perspective, we do have Venezuelans here. They will come to the game. So, I guess, it's down to the people to make it happen. Maybe I can make it happen. Who knows? But I agree. I totally agree. Petrina, Walker, Caribbean, 4 best teams. Trinidad, Jamaica, Suriname, and Haiti. Interesting. That's a good question, folks. You can let me know what you think the top 4 teams are. That's an interesting dialogue. Trinidad made many mistakes. Yes, it was not a perfect game. There were some misplaced passes. There was little mix-ups. Like, especially, I'm trying to remember if it was the second goal or the first goal. I think it was the first goal where Trimmingham and I think Powder had that little split-second mix-up, and that split second allowed Jamaica to penetrate between the 2 centre-backs, muscle off the centre-back, and score. And that's all it was. That's the level of football we're playing at, and kudos to Jamaica for that one. Audio Slave, I think Curacao right now better than Haiti. Curacao, folks, I said that in our match preview, and you can check that out. Everybody from Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, and let me know what you think. We try to do really detailed analysis. That's one of my jobs. And, not just, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago, rum shop talk. I try to use data and analysis and come up with the best impartial thoughts and results. And you could check that out if you all want afterwards on the YouTube channel. Like I said, subscribe. When you guys, it really helps the channel and the algorithm as well. And when you do that, like I said, I'll remind everybody before I wrap things up, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, click the little notification bell underneath so you can get updates when we go live. And also follow us on Instagram at Extra Time TV TT. If you want to follow me on my personal Instagram, my name, Andre Soklal. It should be in the description below and in the other videos as well. Also Twitter, Extra Time TV TT. And our Facebook page, Extra Time TV TT. And all these things have different types of content. We have short form contents. We have match reports on excvmedia.com where we have detailed descriptions of how we think games are going to go. Also cricket as well, for those of you who are into cricket. We have the very reputable Vidya Ramphal helping us with the CPL. He has been working in media for like 20 years. And, the occasional guests, like Shaka Hislop, Kelvin Jack, Kenwin Jones, many others. And hopefully we could have some Jamaicans on in the future. I would love to have that. So I'm seeing some discussions about the top 4. New Jersey, comeback man. Haiti and Suriname are sorely underrated. Audio Slave, Curacao right now better than Haiti. I'm loving the discourse here. Rods, well, Venezuela won't play against us right now. Oh, yeah, listen, that situation. I'd like to say a special, my thoughts go out to all those people in those regions. In Qatar, I have some family there, some missiles were launched there. The situation, I really hope it comes to a peaceful resolution. And it doesn't become worse, and it escalates. So, my thoughts goes out to everybody. That includes us in Trinidad and Tobago, that it doesn't become escalating into something worse. Haiti play extremely good, obviously. 80 was average. Kobe Henry tried to correct the lapse. Oh, it was Kobe Henry. That's right. I said it was Powder. It was Kobe Henry. Correct. Thanks for correcting me, Haggai. That was correct. It was Kobe Henry. And I saw it, and I looked back at the clip after the game, and I saw that little moment of hesitation, and kudos to Jamaica. They took it. And I think what Trinidad should have done was try to keep it at 1-0, at least going into the half, and then restructure. I think once we got that second goal, it was tough. It was tough after that. Andre, I think Haiti is technically better than Curacao. Curacao is heavily dependent on one person, which is their striker. And, Curacao, even though they have Dick Advocat as their coach, and they do get a lot of possession, I think sometimes their finishing lets them know. Although in the last game, they got the 3 goals. Those 2 points we dropped Trinidad and Tobago against Curacao will hurt us. Rods, I hope your family and friends are safe, Andre, because yes, I hope so too. I checked in with them. They seem to be safe, and they're in Qatar, and hopefully everything is okay. Curacao is more athletic. So I agree. I agree. I really love the discourse. And, folks, like I said, you could head over to excvmedia.com, subscribe to the channel right now. It really helps. It really, really helps, and it encourages me to do more things. So everybody who's in the live stream right now, make sure to do that. The algorithm says we have a lot of viewers, but only a small % subscribe. I sound like that guy from Diary of the CEO. If you guys look at him, where he says that. He always has his disclaimer. I see that, and I'm trying to do his voice. I see a lot of you have been looking at our videos, but only a small percentage subscribe. So it really helps. It really helps. So, folks, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing here. I said this at the beginning of the video. This was supposed to be a short video, but I'm really enjoying these long-form live videos, and I'm encouraged to do more. And you could let me know what you think, comments and feedback after the stream is done. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and suggestions, even if you want to post in the comment section afterwards when the stream is done. And we listen to everything. We always pay attention to the fans. And we'll definitely be doing the watch-alongs for the away games to Trinidad and Tobago. I may see if I could bring in Kenwin or somebody else as well for those. We're trying to get the live stream started about 15 minutes before the game starts. We did have some technical issues last time. The stream was on and then it went off. It's one I paid for, and then it came on like 2 minutes into the game. So, we probably lost a little bit of engagement there, but everybody came back on. So with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap things up, folks. Like I said, I really appreciate the support. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Even if when the video is done, you could put it in the comment section afterwards. You could send to extratimetvtt@gmail.com. You could follow us on Instagram. You could follow us, my personal account, which is my name, Andre Soklal. You could follow me on Twitter, Extra Time TV, TT. And on Facebook, the same thing, Extra Time TV as well. And, just let me know your thoughts. Ranks, welcome Ranks. Like I said, when you do all those things, I forgot to tell you all this. We are doing a random draw. It's a Trinidad Tobago jersey. We may change it to a Jamaica jersey, depending on who wins. But, right now, I'm going to give away a Trinidad Tobago jersey. We'll do a random draw maybe halfway through the qualifiers, which is what we're approaching very quickly. And meet if the winner could come to the stadium, that'll be great. I'll try to get some signatures for the jersey as well. Can't guarantee that, but I'll try, and that's our giveaway. And also, you could qualify for a chance to win a copy of EAFC 26. By the way, I do play. I'm okay at the game. I used to be really good. I think I'm okay now. I've won all my games so far. We have a lot of games where I played against Kevin Molino, James Saunders from Trinidad and Tobago, and a couple other people. I can't remember them right now. And I won all so far. So, folks, I think with that being said, be sure to do all those things. Continue to support the channel. It really means a lot. I appreciate much love to Jamaica and all the other islands and countries that have been in here. Jamaica, Paris, UK, Qatar, some of the smaller islands in Trinidad, including not just Jamaica, but all the other islands. I think I said USA already. So I really appreciate the feedback, folks. I really appreciate that. So somebody got a yellow card in the chat there. So, folks, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. If there are any thoughts, comments, and suggestions, you all know where to find me. Subscribe right now. Click that notification bell so you can see all my videos pop up. If there's things you want me to cover, I'll try my best. And any suggestions, thoughts, let me know. So, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I will be seeing you all soon. So take care.